popcorn? I stopped doing videos at the right time for me. Something, I don't know what this means, if it means anything at all. I've never had to slow down for birds before, flying in front of my car. It's happened 3 times in 2 weeks. And a couple of times where it was close, like where I almost had to slow down. I mean, I had a pigeon once, but I didn't see that coming. You know, that thing just poof, feathers all in the air, boom. Recently, it's just like they're like aiming for me. I have to slow down and let them get by. Anyway, I stopped doing these videos at the right time. I am so in my head right now. I have so much physical reality going on around me. And I think it needs to be that. I'm exactly where I need to be. We know that. I get that. But there's so much. I'm so involved in physical stuff that I want to be involved in. It's not that I don't want to be. I mean, it's, I just can't lay back. I can't lay back and let things happen. When most of the time, that's probably all I got to do. Just sit back and let things happen. Whether it be, it doesn't matter. It's all physical reality. It doesn't even matter what it is. It could be anything. I'm looking for new Mandela Effects just because. But it's not even that. It's more than that. I've noticed changes and shifts. I don't find them important. I find the shifts interesting. I don't find the changes important unless there's some kind of sign there. And every time it's about, me taking care of myself. That's what it comes down to. Every stinking time for the last 3 years, that's what I've been getting. I don't know how many times I've repeated myself in the 100-something, almost 200 videos. I could see where I would talk it out like I am now, and I would piece things together. I would piece 2 and 3 videos together and go, oh, wow, wait a minute. We're shifting every 902nd. I just thought we were just shifting when we shifted. That's it. You don't take your body. You shift. Wow. I'm under the impression there are minor shifts and major shifts. Personal shifts and collective shifts. And they're all happening at the same time. There's no time on this. It's just happening. And I heard one YouTuber say, yeah, the shift's going to come, or you're going to feel the energy waves. And it has to do with where you are. And I really believe she meant where you are within, not where you are geologically. Although I got that impression when I heard it, so I don't know. Definitely going through something right now. For me, so far it seems easy, but there's things coming up. I can feel it. There's things coming up. Things are coming to a head. I don't know. I have a clue what to think. It's a matter of me just letting it happen.
If you're hungry now. Oh. Oh.
conceived. That's what I actually saw. And where I'm getting to is, let me just start over since nobody can hear this anyway, right? That's what y'all keep telling me. Can't hear it. I hear it fine when I play it. Let's do this the other way. Check. Hey, is that better? Doesn't sound better. Doesn't sound any better to me. But maybe you can hear me now. Here, let me get in the sun. So, as I was saying, I barely inhale anymore. These things taste like cardboard, just like food does to me anymore. A lot of food does. I don't have, I eat what I'm used to. Trying something new is pointless. I just feel like it should be the other way around. No, nothing but a habit at this point. All right. Point. I recall it being yellow. Okay, I conceived the sun being yellow and smaller. Okay. When I do take a good look at this, it's bigger. And it actually seems closer to me now, and maybe that's because of my perception. Okay, I get that. Do you? At some point, the veil was lifted, and I think it's like layers of an onion. It keeps coming back. Okay, we're pulling it back, so we're seeing more of the truth. So this is what it always was. No, it's probably something even less physically conceivable. This is just a theory, but is this whole thing a pinpoint and just one consciousness, if even a consciousness? But is it just the one thing, and everything's slowly being taken away, peeled back? We're seeing more of the truth of what it really is. Because I don't understand any other way that I could have gone from a beautiful yellow sun that was actually in a galaxy having other balls spin around it. And that part even, I'm still questioning that, if that's even possible. I mean, I guess with the absolute of the absolute energy that has created everything, even things that aren't physical that we cannot conceive, that it's possible, I guess, sure. Infinite timelines, quantum, I guess it is. There's tomatoes walking around. I mean, that just sounds so silly, but our dominant consciousness is so far removed from something that silly that we're never going to experience that. Okay, maybe one person might. Infinite. I've been recently thinking about the sun a lot lately because I haven't seen it in the last couple of days. Now it's out, and it is this white, bright glow. I was talking with somebody I work with this morning. We're driving to the dump, drop a bunch of stuff off. And he said something along the lines of weather, I think, or something. I said, and yeah, the sun looks white now. And I just let it go. And he goes, oh, I can't really see it. And he's looking, he goes, wow. He goes, yeah, that's weird. It does look white today. And he said that, it looks white today. And I'm waiting. I'm like, all right, come on, And he goes, yeah, it's probably something to do with the California fires. Now the smoke's coming over, and I went, I guess that could be it. And it feels hot. It was so funny. When I was outside, I'm like, wow, the sun feels hot on my face. Why doesn't it feel hot here or here? I put my hand up. It felt hot on my hand. It was like strange. I mean, it's not just hot. I mean, it's a scorching. But what was this about? I also got to say, it's on the exact same path as the moon. Okay? Now, the sun, I've been in this room for a year now, looking in this direction for 1 year. Now, if the sun moved, I hadn't noticed, and I always figure that's the seasons, whatever, and I know it's just going down over a certain part of the mountain. Mainly right in front of me is where it goes down. But sometimes it goes down over this way. I recall that. Now it's kind of down. It's going over. It's going over these mountains practically in front of me. And that, which is the exact same path as the moon. Just saying.
Then in 2016, the earth shifted beneath our feet. The rebellion started.
Ever since the Mandela Effect hit me, this was one of the products I always looked at and thought it didn't look right. I'm like, it just don't seem right, but I couldn't figure it out. I remember it being called Quick, not Nesquik, just plain Quick.
Oh, crap. And why can't it just be one step? You got to punch a few buttons as soon as I figured out what it is. Anyway, I'm in the store, and I glance over at the newspaper. What a joke. I never look at it, but there's this picture of the Earth. And it says, unifying view of Earth ends year of turmoil. What are they talking about? Because I read the article, and it just goes through this 1968 picture that was taken by Bill Anders, on Christmas Eve in 1968. I go through the article, it just talks, they're talking about him taking the picture, humans across the globe with a rare feeling of and I go to the next page and I'm reading, it just reads about the article and about the picture. It never says when the picture was actually released, which I'm sure I could find that if I look deeper. But they make it sound like it just, this picture just came out even though it was taken in 68. You compare that to the one that was taken in 2015 with the moon coming across it, and you're like, what? This one's so much better. And this is what we got here. Let's see if we can focus in on that. Nope. Here we go. There's the picture I see, right? What turmoil? What are you talking about? And it's on the front page. It's just, and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm one of those people that just, watch the news and believe it, and watch football and believe it, and read the newspaper and just believe it, because why would they lie? I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, all those people talking about the Earth was flat. Well, I looked into it a little bit. They sound nuts, but listen to the people saying it's a globe. They make no sense if you're really looking at it. I don't know what it is. I'll say that 1,000 times. It's a realm. You know, I like Pickard or Picard's the thing when he went up in the balloon, and he described it as a dish that came up on the ends. I found that interesting. But I don't know. And neither does Picard guy that did that. I just wanted to get this out real quick because I just thought that was the silliest thing. You know, if somebody's looking at that and they were even contemplating flat Earth, they're not now because they're just, there's the picture we've all been looking for. So there's that. Thanks.
I'm watching this video talking about how chemtrails have all kinds of stuff in them. Anything from lithium, no, not kitties, lithium to microscopic robots that are dust particles. They're smaller than dust particles, and we breathe them in. And these are mechanical things, and they're saying that even if you don't ever go outside, since they've been doing this, there's no chance that you don't have some of these in your body. You know? Yeah, I'm paraphrasing because it's not what they were saying, but that's what I got out of it. Does that look like a spine? That's just nice. Seems every time I try to decipher a Mandela effect, or if I notice a change and I want to see a sign in it, it's always, no matter what, the sign, it always comes back to me and to how it's about me, or I, or one, or and what I think that is I did it again. I think it's me, that I have to do my thing individually, and you have to do your thing individually before we could do any kind of collective thing. I mean, that's, for me, that's what I keep saying. I'm like, I guess it's okay for me to go on YouTube and, post something if it's relevant or could help somebody or somebody will get something out of it. But it's more important that I do my own work. Purge or cleanse or whatever it is I'm doing. And it sucks because don't suck. I'm trying to get away from Mandela effects, but I still see changes. And when I see a big one, it's a big one. If soft and dry for me was a Y, I don't care. I know a lot of people say it was always an I. I don't really care. And that's, it sucks because I'm like, have I used soft and dry? No, but my mother did when I was younger, and it was a Y. And, if there's any kind of trigger, that would be it. And I'm not making a big deal out of it because I already know. I already see. So I'm moving on from that. And if I get to help anybody or talk to anybody about it, great. But it's still about me doing my work and figuring out what I want to do with my life. And hey, let me show you what we've done to the place. Oh, of course, this will get copyright strike now because I got music on. All right, it'll be a quickie. It's this back here I got to mess up.
But I've been wanting to get away from, chemtrails and looking at the moon, and more of that rabbit that's upside down is lit up now, but it's still in the exact same position it was last night, the night before, but it wasn't as lit up. Now it's lit up and it's still facing us. So for me, the same side of the moon faces us, if it's a thing. But the light actually does change. So there is no dark side of the moon all the time. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, it's moving. And I feel like I don't understand why I never noticed this before. Maybe we shifted into a timeline where the thing does move and it has all light on all around the thing at different times. I don't know. This is just something I'm noticing now. And the whole simulated sun thing had me thinking, I mean, what are we supposed to be in years of darkness right now? Our sun blinked out, and a lot of these things make no sense. Why would they have a patent for a simulated sun, and now all of a sudden our sun's white? I'm more interested right now in my personal feelings, because I keep saying, and I've said this before, yeah, this is probably a collective thing when it comes down to it. But right now, you got to get a grasp of yourself. And I think that's what all the clues in the Mandela Effects were. A lot of them went from plural to singular. And I said, it's about me. It's about you. Get yourself straight. And once you understand how to create and understand what the Mandela Effect is teaching us, then you create on your own, then we'll be able to create as a collective. And I'm still learning, and I'm still creating. I'm doing things, small things at that, but I'm more wrapped up in physical reality now than the way it used to be. So, I'm still involved a little bit, because I'll go on the sites and watch some shows here and there and check out some new Mandela Effects. And Soft and Dry was always a Y for me. The people that say, oh, it was always an I. Okay, it was always an I for you. Relax. I'm telling you right now, for me, it was a Y. And now it's an I. And a lot of the Y's have been changing to I, which is about you. So I'm thinking, we need to deal with these things now individually for ourselves. It's good to have the communities and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I think we're learning to create individually so we can create collectively. I think that's a big part of it. I do feel a little bit of the energy coming in, not anything like I expected. I still expect more. I expect something big to happen. I expect more eyes to be open and veils to be lifted. But I do believe we are raising our vibration. I think people call it fifth dimension. We're raising into the fifth dimension. Yeah, I could use those terms. We're evolving. We're growing, we're learning, we're experiencing more of what life is and what life's all about. And that's where I am now. I'm in a content mode, and I know when I get in content, that's bad, because I end up doing something drastic, but I'm not sincerely content. I mean, things have been different. I mean, right now we're still remodeling the bar. We're almost done, but that's hard labor. You take that hard labor. It's great. I mean, but my body is screaming. I'm ready to go back behind the bar and serve some beers. But the place is looking great, and I've been involved in that. I mean, heavily, from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. Where are you guys going? From the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, it's nothing but downstairs, sanding and staining and cleaning and putting lights where they belong and ripping up cement and chairs, and 5 floors we pulled up off the back. I mean, it was ridiculous. But it's coming along nice. We will be open Thanksgiving. Free food, Thanksgiving. Come on by. Just buy your drinks. Tip well. Yeah, we got 5 turkeys and a ham. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Give thanks for what you need to give thanks for every day. not just the day that, you know, they butchered and created a holiday over a bunch of slaughters and things that a lot of people didn't do right things for. You know what? I remember, I don't know, what was it, 7th grade? You know, I'm sitting down and Thanksgiving was around the corner and teachers started talking about how the Indians were killed and slaughtered and all this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not what they told us. You know, I should have known then. Everything was messed up. I don't know. Well, give thanks. I give thanks that I've experienced the Mandela effect and that I have experienced enough to understand and to be able to deal with it sanely and hopefully experience more. And I'm grateful that I was able to get a book out on the experiences I had in 15 and 16 as quickly as I did. And yeah, well, I'm still writing. I don't see anything. I see when I'm telling you, it's like I got a bunch of fictional books that I keep putting off, and I keep wanting to get into them. That's kind of a fun thing for me to do. You know, that's like I want to distract myself. That's a fun thing for me to do. Write about one of my fictional stories based on one of the Mandela Effects or one of the things that happened to me in the other book. But I also have another book going. You know what? Mind Beyond Matter, Quantum Shifting. I think that might be it, or something. But I think it's like the Mandela Effect is throughout the whole first book. It's just it was based on all my actual experiences. Even though the Mandela Effect pops up. So I thought, yeah, the Mandela Effect's growing. That'll catch people's eye. And I think that was a good thing to do. But I think the series, if it's a series, at first I started writing and I thought, oh, it's a self-help book. I don't want to do this. And I put it down. I erased a lot of it. So I should have kept it and just changed it from a self-help book to this is what I experienced. No, it wasn't stars coming at me or orbs chatting with me or having conversations on the phone that didn't take place and so forth. It wasn't. It's not going to be that. It's going to be, hey, I tried to create this and it didn't happen, and I think this is why, and then I did it this way and it did work, and why am I doing that all the time? And it'll be more descriptive, of course. But that's the one I'd like to get out, and I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to decide, hey, if I have the money put aside to do it, I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to write it. Because most of the things I have written are right here done. It's just a matter of me writing them down and then printing them down and doing all that other stuff, which I'll tell you, I got good sleep then. Because every time I do something like that, I'm like, oh, I'm so beat. All right, good chat.
Spot. You know what I was thinking? Yeah, I was thinking holidays. Holidays take you out of your routine. That's what they do, and among other things. But yeah, we're opening up tomorrow morning at 11. We ain't done, but everybody wants to go home. So I already did my 8. I'm gonna do another 8. Which wasn't done right. And I ain't opening this place being embarrassed about the tiling. What's that? Because look at that. And we just got done fixing that, and it's actually a lot better than it was, believe me. And we ain't done.
Great job all time.
Say hi, Matt.
Hello.
Yeah, he was in one of my Mandela Effect videos back when I don't know, ran after Mandela Effects. But yeah, I've been wanting to go up and do a video and get it out by Thanksgiving, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, they took the pillows out. Nice big room now. Well, I know the camera's not picking it up, but that's the moon. It's a half moon. It's exactly a half moon. And the rabbit is in the exact same spot it was last night, except that I don't know what that was. No idea what that was.
the rabbit thing, whatever, is in the same spot. And it's still not totally showing. And the moon is half full. And so I'm thinking the same side of the moon faces us. But the whole thing's going to be lit up at some point depending on where the sun is. That would make more sense to me even not. If the sun is a sun simulator, I am not going to be sun gazing. And why would they do something like put these robots in these things, and everybody's got them, including them? So that's the point I don't get. It's just a lot of it sounded like fear mongering. And there's Mr. Moon. It's on the same path as the sun, like for me it would be. Not in the picture. Oh, I see approximately where the sun's going down. Over. Honest, I'm not bitching. There's other things I could be doing. But I don't mind. I want this place to look great.
This is how Matt showed me to do it.
Matt showed me how to do it like this.
I'm not playing it, dude.
I've been creating for sure. But I'm stuck. And I think I'm doing it to myself. I've come across some kind of self-sabotaging bullshit. Okay, so listen, you know what? I'm not wearing this shirt for any reason except that I was working downstairs in the bar and it might get messed up because it's a little tight on me. And I don't care for the shirt too much. I mean, whatever, Floyd, I love the music and whatnot. It has nothing to do with that. That's why I was wearing it. So I come up here and, I go out and I'm looking at the moon and I see that half of the rabbit is showing. The bottom half is not showing. The bottom half is on the dark side. And I'm sitting there going, well, last night, all I saw was a couple of the ears coming out, and I thought, hey, that's the rabbit ears. And the rabbit ears, for me in the past, the whole rabbit thing was upside right, on the right side. I lived in New Jersey, if that makes a difference, when I was a child, and it was on the right side, it was upside right, and it was a rabbit. And I remember that because I have a trigger point for that as a child. My parents were showing me, and I'm going, I don't see it. I don't see the rabbit. And then finally, I kind of saw what they were showing me. I'm like, oh, okay. That was upside right. And then the Mandela Effect occurs, and the rabbit's upside down. It's still on the right-hand side. I don't know when that happened. I just noticed it within the last year and a half or 2 years when people were talking about it and changes in the moon. And the only thing I ever noticed about the moon was that the dark side was always the same side as the sky. That's what it always was for me, and I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense either. Oh, it's the atmosphere and the way the sunlight reflects off the atmosphere that shines my ass into whatever. Okay, I get it. Okay, so I accepted that without questioning it. Whatever their reply or their response was, that's whatever I questioned. That's what it was. Whoever I got that from, I just accepted it. And now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, the dark side of the moon. The moon is always dark on one side of the moon. That's my intake. That's what I recall. I remember being taught or told that the moon does not spin and the one side always faces the sun even as it goes around the earth. We'll use my head as the earth. And the moon's going around it and the sun is, that's why we always see the same side lit up. Okay? So there's a dark side that has never seen the light of day. And there's a light side that is always light. And it doesn't get real hot or anything because of the atmosphere and other space stuff. But I'm sitting here looking at this half moon, okay? Now it just came into my window within the last couple of hours. This is exactly what I saw earlier tonight. And less of that. I mean, I just saw the ears. Now I am looking at the rabbit upside down. It's turned a little bit. It's a half moon, but I don't see the bottom of the rabbit. And I keep looking at it closer and closer to make sure that's the piece that I'm looking at. It is the piece. The bottom of the rabbit is on the dark side of the moon right now. Well, how's that possible if the dark side of the moon has never seen the light of day and the day side has never seen night? I keep thinking, well, I've never really looked at the moon this long. Well, yeah, I have, but I never studied it like this. And this is with the naked eye. Okay, I'm not, I haven't gotten my P900 or P1000 or whatever they got out there now. And this bothers me. Can I get some comments on this? The dark side of the moon. Half of the rabbit is on the dark side of the moon. To me, that would be impossible. Let's see what else we got.
Regular churches, because most people, as before, destroy with lack of knowledge. They haven't studied into those books of Adam and Eve. They haven't really went in there. They don't, okay, I'll take the story at face value. There you go. Good. And you're awarded with these tidbits of epiphany moments and information given. You find out, see, they walked with God in the garden. They were creatures of light. They were a form or an order of angels. You have seraphim, you have Nephilim, you have the archangels, you have the watchers. There's all these different orders of angels, and they're called principalities. There's kings and princes and powers, and all of these are different orders of angels. And man was an order of angelic. Okay? When they sinned against God or went and did what they weren't supposed to because they fell for the trick of Satan. Lucifer at the time, he was the angel of light. He was the light bearer. That was his name, Lucifer. And his name was changed to Satan when he was cast down and made the prince of darkness. And that was given, the light was taken away, so he's given darkness. That was his deal. When he was cast down, man's sin caused him to be cast out of the garden. Well, the being, that light being, couldn't exist, as it were, there's nothing there. I mean, they didn't have eternity yet. They didn't know good from evil until they took of the fruit. They were cast out of that garden in that spirit realm, that dimension above ours. And when they were cast down, they were made to encompass the flesh. They were made into a physical body. So God is a fire or a light. This is a light kind of thing. This is not about being with fingers and toes and that kind of thing, okay? So when everybody says we're in the image and likeness of God or in the image and likeness of Christ, we were. Man was that way, but not now. We're cast into this flesh. Our spirit, when it leaves this, the Bible says the body goes back to the dust of the earth from whence against it came, and the ruach, or the soul, or the spirit, who you are, goes back to him that gave it. We're the breath. God breathed into the nostrils of man, and he became a living soul. And that's how we have become this flesh that we're in. Now, this makeup, this place we exist in, is on a mathematical scale. So people talk about simulation and things like that. As the knowledge, and then from the fallen all the way back to even before the flood, when they all came down and knew the daughters of men was teaching war and all kinds of different things to mankind. That's why the deluge came, because of the fall of the angels. It wasn't because of man's sin, it's because of the angelics had discredited and disrupted man and screwed up the DNA, basically. Played with the mathematics where they shouldn't have. And that was given down to the city of Atlantis. Atlantis was where those fallen dwelt. They were the Nephilim. They were the ones that were there. The offspring of woman, and the angelics turned themselves into men. And they have the ability to do these things. And we do too. We have abilities that are far surpass our wildest dreams if we would just tap into it.
If we would
just
tap into it.
These things you see me do, you will do greater things.
I know that.
And so we have the ability to do things, but the problem is man, because we follow that same suit of greed, because we've been implanted with it through this dimension of mathematical equations that create the atoms and the atomic structures and all of this. Prince of the air, the Lord of this world or this realm, is Lucifer. He's given time to run about, as it were. Even though God made it all, and it all belongs to God, ultimately, he wants to give us the free choice. And the choice, of course, is whether or not we serve him, or we serve ourselves, or we serve Satan. By not serving God, you're automatically in the wrong bunch. You're one or the other. But God's not going to hold a gun to your head and say, okay, tell me you love me. Because if he did, you'd say you love him just to spare yourself. It wouldn't be your heart. It says we love him because he first loved us. And once we really make that connection with him, once you have that real supernatural experience with God, it's like the angel experience you had with the stars, or those beings of part of the heavenly host, those things that came and made you aware of things, and your do-over time with your fall, and all of these things, the experiences on the supernatural realm that you've experienced, that you talk about you would love to be able to walk in that realm all the time, or to live there all the time, or experience it all the time.
Experience it again.
The flesh couldn't handle it. We really couldn't. The flesh just could not handle that ecstatic state, because the more you're in it, the deeper it gets, the better it gets. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do.
And so we crave, once you've had that experience, you crave to have that again, crave to have it back, so that you're constantly wanting more. And God will bless you with more. He'll give you more if you really seek him out for it and need those doors open. The problem is once we realize that we're these spirit beings, we either make a decision to serve ourselves and to make our own reality based upon what we want rather than what God wants. If we're trying to be pleasing and serving God, then he opens doors that are a mass that we could never even have conceived to start with, and lets us have freedom to create that reality we exist in. But in that, there is no fear. That's the whole point. A lot of people talk about, oh, well, there's fear of this, and you're afraid of the end of the world, and all this. It's like, well, no, there is no end. This world will end, of course. This flesh time goes away. And then there's the spirit realm that goes on for eternity. That's what we look forward to, those of us that serve and have this insight, as it were. We're not looking for the demise of man. I don't want nobody to be in pain or in hurt. I want everybody to come to the understanding and knowledge of what it's really about, why we exist in the first place. But they need to understand this flesh is temporal. It's a boot camp. It's a trying ground, so that you can make your decisions by the experiences you encounter in your life. And some people get stronger, and grow more spiritually, their frequency rises. People that are super spiritual, they're not afraid of anything. They have no fear. They have no cares, it seems like. Even though the world's closing in on them, and they'll give their life in a heartbeat. How many people are willing to lose their head over the name of their Savior? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is that in this flesh, though, where we fall is because once we've had a taste of success or things are going our way because God is allowing blessing.
Physically.
We've done something good. We get greedy. We get greedy. And then we want to put God in the backpack. We don't want to call on him until we're on our deathbed or until somebody's dying and we're like, Lord, can you bring them out of their deathbed, or can you make this person well, or will you help me with this or that or whatever. When we start having those kinds of issues, that's when we want to call on God. But when things are going good, we want to say, look at me, and beat our chest and say, see what I've done, see what I've done. And the fact is we wouldn't even exist if God did not allow it. Just like, in the existence, when you were around those star beings or whatever they were, I like to refer to them as angelic hosts, part of the hosts of heaven. We don't know which order they were from, but it's obviously they were higher than human. And in any moment, you would have had some fear there somewhere. You may not really have felt fear.
Well, I didn't want them to see me. I was shocked. I don't know how much fear. I mean, I'm sure there was some fear there. I mean,
respect though, not because you were afraid they were going to kill you.
It was shock. I thought the first star that came at me. Yeah, I thought it was over. I thought that was it. The thing was coming at me. I couldn't move. I tried to move. It came right at me, came right at my heart, and I just gave up. And once I gave up, that's when it went back as a rubber band, like a rubber.
See, and that's the thing. You succumbed.
Yes.
Once you succumbed, the fear went away.
Yeah. I gave in. I said, "Well, this is it. This is it. I mean, what am I going to do?" And that's my whole point about, if God wants to do something to you, just, succumb, give up. I mean, because if he wants you to exist, you exist. If he wants to blink you out, you're done. So say what you want. He wants you to say what you want. He wants you to express yourself physically.
That's right. And that's another point. If we weren't to have the experiences, I mean, think about this, okay? God being all-knowing, he knows about the Mandela Effect before it ever happened. He knows that the deceivers are doing what they're doing. He knows that man is in his creative state and manipulative state to try and control the world and all of these things. But he also knows those who seem to changes mainly and their hearts and how they will be and who will succumb and who won't and who will stand true and who's got a true heart. He knows the heart, the intent of the heart. He knows our thoughts, bro, before we do, and always has. That's the amazing thing. But had he not intended for us to drink or taste, why would we have taste buds? If we weren't supposed to have pain sensors, what are the pain sensors for? Is it so we can suffer? No. It's so that when you hit your thumb, ow, that hurts. I better not do that again or I won't have a thumb left. Is to protect the body that we're in. If we didn't have certain sensors in our body, we wouldn't be able to experience it. We wouldn't be able to walk. We have balance. We have thought patterns. He gives us a brain with open creativity that whatsoever a man thinketh, so he is. He gives us abilities so vast, and he gives us control over all the evil of the world. It's an amazing thing, but so few people really want to grasp that.
How did this conversation start?
Say again?
How did this conversation start?
I'm trying to recall. Something about you seeing... What was it?
The moon.
The moon. You were telling me about the moon because we didn't know how the moon worked exactly, and you asked me about the God thing.
And I've seen half the moon, a couple of the ears were showing from the upside down rabbit, and now I look at it, a little more of the rabbit showing, and I don't understand how that's possible if there's a dark side of the moon that's always dark and a light side of the moon that's always light.
Let me ask you this. you believe the Earth is flat, correct?
I don't know what it is, man. You're not even you can get me to say I believe that. I don't know. I don't think it's a ball spinning and flying through space. I think it's a realm, and if it's going to be physical, it'd probably be a petri dish.
All I know is what we have as factual evidence. If it's not factual evidence, I don't know.
Right. I don't know.
I know one guy went up in a balloon, and he described it as what he would have called a dinner plate with upturned edges. Now,
Wow. When was that?
do what?
When was that?
That was the Picard guy.
Oh, okay. I see. I didn't know he had a description of it.
Yes, it's in Popular Mechanics in 19. What year was that? Look up the Picard guy. He can tell you what year.
Oh well.
Shell just come in. She's looking. She heard me talking about Picard. It's in Newsweek or Popular Mechanics, rather, is the magazine it was in. And it gives a description of what he said it was like an upturned plate. Or he said it's like a big plate upturned on the edges. So you know how a plate is? It's not really flat. 1931 is when she said what it said.
He said that in 1931.
She's looking up the article.
That's 10 miles high.
Okay.
Okay.
She's reading the article.
Dude, I put in Picard, Popular Mechanics. All I keep getting is Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Picard returns to Star Trek.
Okay, here's what he said. Here's it. Hold on a minute.
Through the portholes, the
Okay.
there.
Yeah, it says,
Oh, here you go.
this is him giving in the first half hour the balloon was shot up where 9 miles. It says, through portholes, the observer saw the Earth through copper-colored and then bluish haze. It seemed a flat disk with upturned edge. At the 10-mile level, the sky appeared a deep dark blue. With observation complete, the observers tried to descend but couldn't. While their oxygen tanks emptied, they floated aimlessly over Germany, Austria, and Italy. Cool evening air contracted the balloon's gas and brought them down on a glacier near Obergurgel, or whatever it's called, Austria. Anyway, so it says, through the portholes, the observer saw the Earth through copper-colored, then bluish haze. It seemed a flat disk with upturned edge.
Wow.
Now, that was the first person to go the highest, and immediately after
So that's proof, right? Is
when
that?
they went into the NASA deal and started all that. If you want to pull that up, it's Popular Science or Popular Mechanics, 1931, page 23. And it says, this is where most people have a problem. The lie is so ingrained in us. But that's his name, Professor Auguste, Auguste, Auguste Picard, Piccard.
The article's called 10 Mile High.
Two C's in Picard, huh?
The article is called 10 Mile High, and if you pull that up on Google, I can even have Michelle send you the link if you want on the phone. That way you can pull right up the actual Popular Science thing. It's called
Was it?
10 Mile.
You said it was page 23.
1931, page 23. And it's got pictures of the balloon and what he went up in and how he did it, and tells the whole article. And he's the first one to ever go that high and describe the Earth for the first time. After that, NASA was created, and they started the whole deal with the Antarctic treaties and all that, because we had the guy go down there in Antarctica.
They had to do something. Somebody caught it. They had to do something to keep the masses.
Yeah, well, if you recall, the Catholic Church for 500 years before had taught that the Earth was flat and under a dome.
Yeah, but we were told not to pay attention to that.
Yeah, the whole world was told this, and then they changed after this discovery, and it was finally realized that man could go that high, and for the first time, and then And then after that, he went into doing submarines, which was
You
amazing.
know, John. I'm thinking, what's it? Every 20 years. At this point, it's every 5 or 10 years. People aren't going to care. In 5, 10 years, people don't care. In 10 years, the Mandela effect. I mean, if physical reality kept going the way it is, the Mandela effect would be just like, you know, it'd be done. I mean, there'd be a small group of people still grasping onto it. But I sincerely feel, I sincerely,
Coming, but not for food and water, but for the hearing of the word of God.
yeah, but I really feel like physical reality is changing.
It is changing.
If it's not changing, the people that have noticed the changes are changing
Yes.
to lift the veil and see the truth.
Do you still watch YouTube pretty good?
Occasionally, pretty good. I wouldn't say pretty good.
Still
More than
have
you.
a show.
More than you have been, but not by much. I just go on there looking. You know, once in a while I'll get a comment, mainly on that Picard video, where somebody will say, "Oh my God, I'm totally freaked out by this Mandela effect thing now because of the Picard crystal," and I'm like, "Really? That's what did it?" I'm like,
Check this one out. It's called the guy's name is called A Plain Truth, PLANE Truth .info. That's his name on YouTube. It's A Plain Truth .info. Okay. And he's got some videos on there. He's got some interesting things. He's got one where, I don't know, Rocky hits a dome or something. So I think maybe he's a flat earth kind of person. I don't know. I haven't watched that much. The only reason I'm pointing this out is because there's a different video set that I want you to watch. I mean, you can watch whatever you want on there on this stuff. I really
I'll go check it out. No, I'll definitely check it out.
But it's A Plain Truth .info. And that's his YouTube name. And then the video you want to look for is called A Silent Target. I believe it's Silent Target. And it's 1 through 9. There's like 9 episodes.
Repeat the first thing.
A Plain Truth .info. That's his name on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Silent Target.
I believe it's called Silent Target. And it's got 1 through 9 episodes. So you want to watch all 9 of them. But it will tell you some stuff about some of the scalar technology, weaponry that's going on. There's just different things that are happening. But I think you, being the intellect, will find a lot of the information there interesting. Now, some of them are not so. I mean, like I said, glean what you can that you like, usable. Some of it I wouldn't hold a lot to. But,
I understand that.
You know, I mean, some's good, some's bad. You just take whatever. But ultimately, some of the information that's given there about some of the government projects and things that are taking place right now also could lend ear as to why we're seeing some of the changes with the people. The reason perhaps that the people are seemingly taking downloads the way they do. Now, I don't know this guy's Mandela effect. I don't even know if he's aware of it. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I've heard you talk about taking downloads. I've heard people actually consciously saying, "Okay, I want to take a download for this," and they would wait, and they would get a ring in the ear, and things would work out. And I'm like, well, if it's that easy, I've tried it a couple of times. I'm not getting anything. I'm like, hey, I want to shift into a time. I do better when I go, okay, and I concentrate and I just sit and meditate, and I go, okay, I'm going to consciously shift myself into a timeline where everything is exactly the same except for this circumstance, and this is going to turn out better, and it does. And I, you know, is it just because that's what was going to happen anyway, or is it just because that's what I believed?
Well, we have
Good morning, you two.
so many different things coming in right now, but I just gotta. I just needed to sit and chill for a little bit, so I put in Corpse Bride, directed by Mike Johnson, not Tim Burton. That was the Mandela Effect, because everybody believed it was Tim Burton that directed it. Then it turned into Mike Johnson. And I never watched it. I just bought the DVD and sat it up there with my collection, and now I decide, let me sit here and watch it. I need to just sit here and do nothing. I need to get away. And I thought doing this would do it. And of course, it's directed by Mike Johnson and Tim Burton.
Yeah, most likely, probably, but I don't know.
Was that choice made?
Choices I'm making, but sometimes you have those deja vus, and I think, okay, this shows I'm where I'm supposed to be, because it's, I've had this experience before, and there's a lot to this whole reality, this physical aspects of it that we really don't know, but they're tampering with so much. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, they're tampering with so much that I think that what's happening is just like they've tried to cover the truth about different aspects of our reality, just like the banking system or the political system and all these different things where it's a show to keep the populace at bay. I think ultimately a lot of the stuff that's going on with these changes, that they're real, that they've taken place for sure. I mean, too many of us can see. We have the eyes to see. We've been given insight, and we haven't been able to be manipulated. Our frequency is of a higher level, okay? I'll just leave it at that for the moment. Remember, ultimately, you're a light being. You're holding on to, you're just imprisoned in a flesh form for a time. But while we're here, we still have a choice of whether or not our frequency is high or low. And when you listen to this 1 through 9 series, I'm telling you, there's stuff when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my God, I got to get Suso to listen to this because it resonated. You know how you were feeling the temperament of some other people?
Yeah.
You become angry and then you were feeling it? Mm-hmm. This is going to blow you away. You got to really get this and watch all 9.
I got it.
It's a mind boggle. But
Silent Target.
Those of us that, I believe it's called Silent Target. I believe that's I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But if you go to his channel, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's a 1 through 9 series. He's got 9 of them. Watch all 9 of them in order. But here's the thing. Those of us that see the changes, okay, the powers that be or whoever it is doing these different experiments with whatever it is that they're working with, okay, they have to be wondering why we are seeing the changes, and the rest of the population, they just go right along with the change. They don't know. They're part of the hive mind.
I was often under the impression that they knew the percentage of people that could possibly see and wake up, and they feel the percentage is so small they don't care.
That's a part of it, but it's big enough that they've had to do Hollywood excerpts like with some of the shows to...
Well, sure, they have to keep it going. If they stop, then it'll be obvious and break open and everybody will know.
Right. I don't think it will because too many people are being... the majority of man is easily manipulated by their own choosing and their own belief systems. Remember, we know it said forgive us our trespasses.
For sure.
We know that. And to say it isn't is a lie. And the majority of the world believes the lie because of their own choosing. They have a denial. They'd rather live their own life and forget these changes. They have no concern for nobody but themselves. They could care less if anybody knows.
But that's where they are. Oh, you don't mean the elite. Or do you mean the elite?
I'm talking about the whole majority of mankind.
The majority, they just don't know any better, and it's because they've taken in everything the elite has given them. Do you know that the elite truly believe, at least this is what I've recently come across, and I don't know if this is true or not, actually, I tend to feel that that would be an excuse for them, or the elite believe that they are actually bringing in the light by
Yes.
by doing the negative things they do. Is that something you told me?
Oh, I don't know if I've told you that.
Okay.
I
But-
don't think I've told you
But
that.
the negative factions, the elite, the negative part, the dark side, believe they're bringing in the light by pushing the dark. I mean, just to be an outside observer, I'd say, yeah, that makes sense.
It's order out of chaos.
I mean, but it's
you gotta
also
remember,
it's also going, hey, you know what? I can have it all here. All I got to do is be negative and help out the people. Okay, cool, I'll do that. And not have any conscience at all. Just do it.
how to help the people is by creating the problem in the first place, getting the people to ask for the help.
Right, and then they beg for McDonald's. Please give us food all the time. Okay, we'll get. Is that what you want? You want instant food? You got it.
Exactly. While they eat filet mignon.
Which I'm sure is good for you too.
Yeah, right?
John, I'm going to cut out.
All right, I love you, bro.
I love
It's
you
good
too,
talking.
man. Excellent talking to you. I don't know, man. I'd say look into the moon thing more, but you already did.
Well, I've looked into some of it. The thing, I'm still, my mind is still boggled by the whole moon and how it works.
I'm just telling you, the last couple of nights, I've seen parts of the moon that should not be dark that are. That's the only. I don't know how else to explain it.
One of the things I appreciate more than anything,
What's that?
the fact that you call it a rabbit
What?
in the moon. Because not everybody I've talked to sees a rabbit. They see everything from Pluto to all kinds of different things.
Oh, I
I've
just.
always seen the rabbit. That was always a thing for me.
But I remember as a child that it was upside right,
Yeah, exactly.
and now it's upside down. And the other day it was turned the other way, and I, was doing my physical thing and blew it off, and it was full. The last full moon I saw, I'm like, well, the rabbit's not in the right spot. Well, oh, maybe that's because the moon's in a different spot now, and I'm seeing it from a different angle. It's full. You're going to see, if it's full, and the dark side's always dark, you're always going to see the same thing.
The
But
sun used to be gold too before the.
But now parts of the rabbit for me are dark, and now today they're more lighter, but parts of it are still dark. And tomorrow I figure the full rabbit will be out there. That should be impossible. With a half moon, you should not be able to see the full rabbit if you see the full rabbit with a full moon.
That's right.
Is
Unless
is
it's
it? Is that right? Unless it's spinning, but it's not supposed. And if it is spinning, it's always facing the sun anyway. That same side, which makes no sense at all.
And how come in the daytime we can see a partial sun, partial moon? Why are we not seeing the whole moon lit up?
Yeah, I don't get that. One of my videos, when I was redoing all my videos for my Mind Beyond Matter site, and I redid all the videos, one of the videos came up, and it was one of the blooper videos, because it was something that I thought, that's stupid. I was filming the moon during the day, and I said, how come the dark side of the moon is the exact same side as the same color as the sky all the time?
Exactly.
I don't understand that. And I kind of blew it off because I'm like, well, I don't know where to go with that. I don't know. All right, John. You enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good movie night with Michelle.
All right, we'll do, bro. I love you.
Love you too. Tell her I love her and have a great night.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm going to sit here and go ahead, and you probably already got some, because while I've talked to him for a half hour before you started getting any of this. I meant to ask him live if it was okay for me to go ahead and post this. I haven't had a video in a while. This will be a good 35-minute video with him going. It's what it's mainly going to be. I love it. And there's other things that I've been, just things that I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to post, but this is an idea, let me pop it up, and I just go ahead and film it. I'm sure you'll get a bunch of those.
The bottom of the rabbit
All right,
is
look,
on the dark side
it's a
of the moon
half
right now.
hour since I
How's
said
that
the moon,
possible?
and I'm talking about the moon, and
If the dark side of the moon has never seen the light
it's
of day,
gone.
and the day side has never
and I
seen
thought
the
it
night.
came into my window a little bit quick. And
You know,
it,
you
I
think,
mean,
well, never really
I
looked
think
at
I
the
could
moon
have sat
or
there and
something.
watched
I
it
have,
move.
I never studied it like this, and this is with the naked eye.
You know, I read this 2 weeks ago, and it said, compromise is the theft of joy. And I had to think about it. Compromise is a theft of joy. And I thought, yeah, I guess kind of. I can understand that. Now, I'm sitting here watching Curiouser and Curiouser's latest video. Today is the 14th of November. Soft and dry. I've heard it from a couple other channels. Absolutely guaranteed. Y. Soft and dry. D-R-Y. And now it's always been D-R-I. And I'm looking at this Ross Dress for Less. Something's definitely wrong with it. I didn't see what they said. Let's see. Many do remember the Ross with the Dress for Less under. Okay, they said the Dress for Less was never under it. Look, they got all these lines through every letter. The R, the E, the F, the other E. The O is broken. The R is... All the letters are wrong and different for me. Dress for Less, was it under it? I'm not sure. I'm going to say, yeah, it was under it. Now they got it next to it. I just interviewed these guys for like a good 10 minutes, I guess, almost. This is going to be the first thing they see of you guys. I totally got them with the yield sign. But your question about... Now, I should probably start this. All right, let's try this again. I've probably said this 10 times in this video, but I'll be going dark. It's not for any reason except that I have some things going on now that I need to pay attention to. And as much as I love doing this, I'm just not going to have the time. If you get another video from me, it's probably going to be 6 months of little clips of here, there, things that I feel like should be out or could get out. I could probably go to the big channels and hit them up with the info. Let them research it and figure out if they want to do something with it. But I started out doing this for myself. I had all kinds of experiences for about a year and a half. Paranormal, supernatural, it's all in the book. I wrote about it all. And they were big enough things to write about. And when I started doing videos on YouTube, they really started to dwindle down to the point where I had to look at it and imagine and pull from it like I'd get a little spark from a star rather than having 10 of them screaming at me for, 3 minutes or whatever. So I'm stopping, and I may peek in and listen here and there just to see what's going on. But something Guy Fawkes and I talked about, and something I've said all along, it's about your perception. And if I take my perception away from the Mandela Effect and the things that have been going on, I'm just slipping right back into 3D. Also, another thing Guy and I talked about, the Matrix is pulling me in. But it's pulling me in for something that would better me. It's pulling me in, but I'm not getting pulled in. I'm going with the flow. There's things, like I said, and I think it's this last video. It's like I have things in my past that are going on. I made the right decision. I made the right moral decision. And now these things are coming up again. And I meditate on it or whatever I do. And I'm getting, you're going to have to do this. This is the long way to learn it. And you're going to have to do this. And I'm like, but that's not right. Well, it's not wrong either. The subject, it's not wrong. You know, some people might be hurt by it, but I think that's the lesson. You know, we'll see. We'll find out when it happens. Just hang in there. I know the next 2 months are going to be tough for a lot of people individually. And I think once we clear all that up, we can have a nice collective shift as a group. But that may be negative too, just to make us learn. I mean, that's what we have to do. That's what we're doing. That's what we're going to do. Me, I'm going to be taking care of some personal things and taking a break. As many times as I've said it, this is it. I've seen the signs. I've seen, you know, I'm getting smacked in the face every time I try and take a video. Something will happen to the phone. If I try and get on the, yeah, buddy. Try and get on the computer, something shuts down. It's pretty obvious to me it's time for me to take a break. Please check out my other YouTube channel, Mind Beyond Matter. There videos from 1 to 80, and it's everything from the beginning. Half-hour episodes. Enjoy that. If you know any new people who are getting into the Mandela Effect, you could send them to that. They could see how my ideas change and how I progress. I think that the whole channel will be for the future. I've talked to Danny about that. A lot of this, what we're doing, is about the future, to teach people, hey, guess what? Physical reality is malleable. It shifts, it changes. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for clicking on my videos. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. It's been fantastic. It's been a great little ride. I suspect that you'll hear from me here and there. But right now, I have to go out and experience, like the songwriter has to go out and experience something to write a song. Because once I started doing these videos and teaching myself, which is what I started out to do, you know, that grew into me teaching other people or guiding other people or helping or whatever. I don't know, just coming up with ideas, and maybe they'll pick from it. That's how it started out. And I noticed the experience has slowed down, so I'm going to chill. I'm still going to stay focused on shifting, changing my reality, because something Guy and I spoke about was staying focused. If your perception's not on it, you're going to lose it. You know, 3D reality has been pulling me back in, and it's for a reason. I want to get through that so I can move on and grow. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you soon.
What color is he? Yield sign?
Red. I say red.
It's red.
I say red.
And he's saying it is red, but it was yellow. How many people? How many people were in the car when JFK was assassinated?
4.
3?
So you both are in your own dimension, like you know that, right?
Apparently, yeah. I've seen the pictures. Like I really thought it was 4.
It's a beautiful day in
Mr. Rogers.
what is it?
The neighborhood.
The neighborhood.
Okay.
It's actually a beautiful day in this neighborhood. It's always been a beautiful day in this neighborhood. What do you mean, okay? Okay.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's how I remember it.
It's this. But this.
But I told you I was going to prove to you that you probably shifted.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is? Well, it is this in this timeline. It's always been this.
Okay.
Yield signs have always been red, for the most part. But I remember yellow. I mean, I remember yellow plain as day. So do a lot of other people. No. The crazy is I studied the JFK assassination. In the 80s, there was 4 people in the car, and now there's 6.
Wow, I'm I don't even know where I'm living.
No, you
6
right.
people?
Three.
How are
Two,
there 6
and two. The
people?
car's longer in this timeline. It's always been that way in this timeline.
No way.
You got the world at your fingertips.
I mean,
Look it
to
up.
me, 4 is max. To me, because that's just how I see the car. Because I've seen it.
For me, it was William Greer, Governor Connolly, and the Kennedys. That was it. Now, Connolly's wife's in the car and some other security guard. And it's 2, 2, and 2. Car's longer.
Okay.
TV show with the 4 girls running around New York City is called Sex.
In the city.
In the city.
What did you say?
In the city.
In the city?
I said and the city.
Okay, which one of you is it right?
I don't know. Sex and because when you say it now, I'm not sure anymore.
You're having a dual memory. You're remembering both timelines.
Maybe
that's all that is, because it was always sex in the city, but in this timeline, it's always been and. It's never been
and
in.
the city. Okay.
Just don't accept it.
You're better at this one than I am.
Oh, because
Well,
she's
there's
just.
no right answer.
No, there's
right?
not. Nobody's wrong.
It's what you know.
Nobody's wrong.
Right? Okay, this is really awesome.
You're going to enjoy the book. If you happen to be in town, I should have another batch in by next week. If you want, you can just check them out on Amazon if you like. But yeah, I do videos on YouTube. I used to do videos on YouTube. This will be my last one for a bit, because there's a lot of, we're talking about the energy and everything.
Yeah.
Well, there's energy waves supposedly coming in now,
And it
hitting the
changes
earth.
how you react to your environment. Is whatever energy you feel wherever you are, it changes how you react to your environment.
Oh, sure. But I've been feeling, it's weird. I'm seeing problems with a lot of people, personal problems, and then what I'm feeling is just it's like I already went through the stuff that they're going through. There's still some things I need to go through, but I'm feeling like I'm in a cloud. But I'm still very observant with everything else that's going around. But I'm just like I'm in this fog, and I really feel like all the experiences I had was before I was putting stuff on YouTube, and I started putting stuff on YouTube, and they slowly dwindled down to not nothing, but it's to the point where I'm just not getting them anymore. I'm gonna put you on pause. Well, the forefront consciousness I call the dominant consciousness, and that's where you reside. That's where you are. Your consciousness always resided where the yield sign was always red. You don't remember it yellow at all, so
Not at all.
right. So that's where you. But for him, he resided where it was yellow. And myself, I reside in the timeline where it was yellow. Some people say orange.
Right, and we're married, and then for me to say red and him to say yellow, we kind of go,
It's very interesting.
really? Like, why?
Did you guys ever pass the same yield sign at the same time? I mean, one of you are going to go, whoa. Like you may have seen a yellow yield sign yesterday, but because I feel it's quantum and infinite, you'll never see another yield sign again. She pulled you into, I pulled you into her timeline.
Right, and now he's going to see the red one,
Yep.
and maybe I'll start noticing yellow.
I don't think so. Well, it's no, I can't say no.
I'm going to see the red ones.
You're still going to see red.
No, right?
But I really feel as though there's going to be a collective shift. And for me, there's personal things going on. I'm sure there's personal things going on for a lot of people. Because there's personal things going on with me that are going to be dealt with. And I really feel like these things need to be taken care of. I mean, the timing on these things is just synchronistic. I got something coming up from the past. It's been there. I could have taken care of it earlier. I could have taken care of it sooner. I got something coming up on the 10th that I at first thought I'd try and avoid, but I'm like, no, just take care of that and go through it. And one thing in particular, it's, how do I put this? Like, there was a situation in my past, and I gotta laugh at this, but there's a situation in my past where I had a decision to make. And I made what most people would say is the right decision. I made the right choice. So I didn't have to go through the consequences or possible consequences of making a choice of something that, some people could get hurt, but probably not. I'm trying to come up with okay, you're a teenager. Your parents give you your car, all your friends getting beers, jumping in the car, you're driving around, joyride. Nobody gets hurt, everything's fine, but you make the decision not to do it because you're a responsible teenager. And hey, look, people could get hurt here, I'm not going to do this. Okay, so that's the equivalent to this situation. So in my past, I made the call and I made the right decision. But it turns out that this situation is being presented to me again. It's right in front of me. And I'm meditating on it and trying to figure out, well, what's this about? Why is this situation coming up again? I already know that lesson. But here's the thing. For me, the idea was to learn the lesson the hard way, which I didn't do because I was smart enough to make the right decision. Now, does that make any sense? Because now the situation's in front of me again. And I feel like the idea here is to make the wrong decision, which is the right decision for me to learn the proper lesson. They're at the back of my book, when you get the book, because I know you're going to get it. At the back of the book, I have a list of YouTube channels where some people do interviews with other people, some people do voting videos, some people they called it something else, have been into it for 10 years, but they called it something else. I think it's been going on throughout time.
Probably.
I think this is how we create motion, time, physical reality.
Maybe without people even realizing it, because we don't really have the capacity to record things until now, so you wouldn't notice if people are in different realities.
But anyway, I drove by McDonald's one day and I went, oh, look at that, they modernized their sign. I didn't sit there and go, oh, they took the A out of McDonald's. It's always been MC Donald's in this timeline, but I remember MAC Donald's. Because that's why they called it the Big Mac. They don't call it Mac Nuggets.
No.
They're not calling it Mac Nuggets. They call it the Big Mac because everybody was resided in that timeline back when it was big. That's called residual evidence. The Big Mac is residual evidence that it used to be McDonald's.
So, what happens when someone is on a different timeline from someone else then? If you can see that with different people, what's the end result? Is there a different effect down the line if someone maybe is on a different timeline earlier than someone else?
That's happened. I've seen stuff like that happen where people will experience one thing, 6 months later somebody else experiences it for the first time. Movies, people like swearing they saw a movie and then 3 months later they're going, that movie's just coming out now? How's that movie just coming out? I've seen it already in the theaters. I just discovered Imagine Dragons. Not my style, but I love it. It's like listening to, I think these guys that are into Imagine Dragons, I think there were a bunch of people that got fired from Disney. Sort of reminds me of Disney music. Wow, just saying. No, you can't smoke in here anymore.
Life decisions come up and you really have to think about it. So it's like, usually, for me personally, you would go with the logical decision. Like, you go through money, your time, where you live, everything, what is the most logical, and then there's this other side where it's like a deeper level, where it's like, what do you really feel in your gut? What something else is telling you is right or wrong? And for me, like, there is a decision that is right in every single way, but maybe you get like a different vibe or a different gut feeling, and it makes you stop, and you're like, I would have made that decision in a second, because everything else lines up. But there's something else inside you that makes you stop and think, why?
I was too worried about the
right?
consequences of what I was going to do.
Well, absolutely.
So
that's part of the logic side,
maybe
right?
it's part of the lesson is me not to be worrying about that stuff. Just do what I got to do. I mean, do you know what I mean?
But it kind of makes you think that gut thing inside you that's working against logic. Like, what is that? Is that just you internally saying something's not right, or is that something stronger that's pulling you away from a decision that's going to take you in the wrong direction? I mean, is that, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Is that stronger, or is that not? Like, what should you really be going with? Because that comes up with, just like you're saying, that you made the morally right decision. Well, now it's coming up again. Well, maybe there was a feeling that was buried deeper that you just didn't feel yet, because you're not connected.
There was
with
something
it.
I got to go through with that, I'm sure.
But it's kind of crazy to think about, right? It's a different level.
Sure is.
You got to dig a little deeper.
Level? It sure is.
But how do you even connect with that? Because all you can really see.
I told you
is
about
your
the empathic
consciousness.
stuff, so yeah, it sounds like
you're pretty in tune with that already.
Right, if I could sit here and tell you,
It's
yeah,
just a cyclic thing until you make that right decision.
that's what Guy said. That's what Guy Fawkes said. Go and check out his channel too. Hey guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate the interview. Hope it didn't blow your mind too much.
No, I like it.
I'm gonna miss doing these interviews, but the only way I have to stop because I need to experience, and doing this is great, teaching people, showing people what's going on and all, and explaining my theories on the Mandela Effect. But
I love it.
I've experienced more before I got on YouTube, and that's how I was able to write a book, because I had those experiences. Now I could write a second book, but it's going to be a self-help book. And it's going to explain what I've gone through and the trials and how I learned how to create. And I'm still not on target on that, but I'm a lot closer than a lot of people.
Well, and that's
but the
helpful.
Matrix is pulling me back in. That's what me and Guy were talking about. It's pulling me back in. It's bringing me back physical 3D reality situations. Now I'm wondering, just get through them so we can go to 5D or whatever. Dude, that's why this is being held up for me, because there's still crap. If I went to 5D, I'd be going, damn, I could have done that when I was in 3D. I didn't do it, you know. And then I don't know, messes off. Was that worth one shot? All that info?
I think we're just primal creatures that we think that we're just more sophisticated. You know, like we just grow so much.
We can only grow so much. I think we're always expanding and growing.
Yeah, but I think that we're just a bunch of hairless monkeys.
Hairless monkeys. You got more hair on your face. I got on the top of my head. Yeah.
I better stop my jab.
Go.
Sometimes people need a reality check. Sometimes it's a little more literal.
What is reality?
Right? Like.
You know, I mean, so.
Right, the decisions you make, maybe it's not right for you, maybe it's not really reality, who knows? Gosh, this all started with me asking about ghost stories.
You asked about a ghost. See what you got?
I'm asking about another plane, and I really
Oh, it's so funny because I am going to stop doing the videos. I got one more video coming out, and I'm done for a while. I don't know if it's forever or for what. If I have a reason to get on, I'll get on. But for now, I'm going dark, man. I am.
Just write your second book.
That's probably what I'll do in my spare time. I started to write. I got like 7 or 8 books up there. I started, all based on this stuff. I just can't zero in on one and just you know, keep it going. So.
Maybe touching into the paranormal a little bit helps you kind of piece those things out and really understand it.
No wonder, you know. Okay, yeah, I can write books and help people, but it's. I don't know how much time we got, man. You know, I mean, physical reality is breaking down around us. 3D's breaking down, so you know, like you said, what does this mean? I'm creating, and that's what my second book's going to be on. It'll be on what I did to learn how to create, and I by no means have it down. I've been, you know, but I'm successful, and sometimes I fail. But yeah, but with this creative thing, I mean, it's almost instant. And sometimes it's going to be instant. It's going to get to that point where I'm not going to make an apple appear in my hand.
I'm going to shift into a timeline where the apple was always there. And I was like, whoa. But that's what they talked about, back in the 80s. We were talking about how we're going to be able to manifest things and all this. And I broke it down. I break everything down. I analyze everything. So that's why I get too deep in it. It doesn't matter if your consciousness is shifting through timelines or we're in a computer simulation or it's a D-Wave computer or CERN. It doesn't matter what did it. It's happening. And it's happening to thousands of people.
Right, I would rather understand what's happening than why it happened.
Or who, or if we're doing it or manipulate, can we use it? I need to know why or who, just because this way I'll know how to proceed. But, all the amnesia to the whole...
Right, I mean, that picture at the end of the bar of someone sitting there as a spirit, how did that even happen? Why did that picture come to be? Why were we able to take that picture here in our space and time? I mean, why
was it the adjacent timeline that was bleeding through? Maybe that's all that picture was.
Like, that's so fascinating about the paranormal is because you don't know.
Just hang in there, because it's not going to be easy. And I think it's going to be a lot of personal things. So it's not like everybody's going to be going, "Oh, it's the Mandela Effect" or something. It's going to be all personal things that they have to get in order. I've noticed a lot of things, a lot of problems people are having is dealt because of other people. It's you let them walk on you or take your energy or whatever, however you want to put it. Most people are going through some things because of other people. Get within yourself. Go within. And, from there, it'll be easier to do a collective shift if we can. Well, when we can. Just ran into somebody else who's never heard of Imagine Dragons.
Just talking about it, like he was saying about how there are some things in his memory that stick out really, really vividly, and I don't remember them. So it's like, why wouldn't I remember them when it sticks out so vividly for him? Like, maybe it's something that I wouldn't notice, or maybe it's something more than that. I don't really know. So it kind of raises an interesting question that maybe I've never really considered, I guess.
What, misremembering, confabulation? Like, hey, that's something I'm not really into. Well, I know how many people were in the car when JFK was assassinated, and there was 4, now there's 6. So for me, when other people see changes, I'm like, you know what? For me, it was always Oscar Mayer, M-A-Y-E-R. There are tens of thousands, well, maybe probably tens of thousands of people out there that remember M-A-Y-A-R. Or M-E-Y-E-R? M-E-Y-E-R. I don't even know. I just know what it always was for me.
For you.
But this is one of the Mandela effects that didn't hit me. Because I like all these other changes, Tigger's nose is a different color, Tony the Tiger's nose is a different color. Those kind of hit me, and I would blow them off because I'm like, how much did I really pay attention to Tony Tiger's nose?
Right, it's whatever's imprinted based on your passing. Like, when you see it out of the corner of your eye, you're not really trying to remember it, but, like, I would say blue.
Who's that?
Tony the Tiger's nose.
I believe it is blue. Or is it black? I thought it was black.
I mean, I would say it's blue, but, like, it's also not something that I would ever consciously remember. It's like it's in a different part of my consciousness. It's not important.
But see now, but you have triggers. For me, Sex in the City was a trigger for me because I know it was Sex in the City. I have casinos, slot machines I looked at, ex-girlfriend I bought the DVDs for. I know that's what it was. It was the phrase Sex in the City. I'm like, why did everything have to be based on sex? Blah, 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 blah. Why couldn't it, and that's what that was. So, for me, but I'll have triggers for certain things. Certain things that I know. The Pepsi for me, the Pepsi symbol changed 3 years ago for me. I have triggers for that. I know it was blue on top, red on the bottom, Pepsi written in the middle.
I remember that because I thought the change was stupid and I hated the new logo.
When did you see the new logo change?
It probably was like about 3 years ago when they changed it. It was like a little more kind of fluid,
Can I tell you that way it is? It's always been that way.
What?
Yeah. And you noticed the change. I noticed the change too, and I
thought they
thought,
made it more modern.
I wonder if it's one of those Mandela effects. When you look it up online, every once in a while you'll get one of the circles with the wave on the bottom, wave on the top, but the red's always on top, and it's never written. It's always printed. The symbol you remember, you can't find.
Is it blue on top, red on the bottom? Because that's what I see.
I believe that's what it is now, but I don't know. Because it's not the circle. It's that wave thing that you're talking about.
And then there's like this in the middle.
Anyway, for me, that changed 3 years ago, and when I looked it up back then, that's the way it always was. But it could have changed back. You could have flip-flopped back. For me, it was always Tidy Cats with an S. And then 2 years ago, it changed to Tidy Cat, and now it's Tidy Cats again. So that was a flip-flop for me. Well, that's a flip-flop. But what happened was I shifted and then shifted. Now, it's funny. You wonder if proximity has anything to do with it. When it was Tidy Cats, I just assumed it was always Tidy Cats. I didn't know about the Mandela Effect. Why am I going to think anything else? I lived in Philly. We had multiple cats, and it was called Tidy Cats.
Right.
I moved out here, and I noticed it's called Tidy Cat. I go back to visit home, and it says Tidy Cat on the box. And I'm like, wow, that's really weird. Mom, check it out. And she's like, yeah, I always thought it was Tidy Cats, but she's just not going to bite into this at all.
No, probably not.
So she goes, so by the time I got back to Colorado, it was Tidy Cats again. And I was just like, Mom, go look at that. It was Tidy Cats. That's what we said. It was Tidy Cats. I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't know verbatim how our conversation went, but it flipped for me and like not for her, or just
Makes me think what that all means.
It means that physical reality is not what you've been taught. It's malleable, it shifts, it changes, and you can experience whatever you want. Now, I've also gotten into a recent conversation with Guy Fawkes. We're talking about how, as much as, I don't know how he feels about it, but the simulation theory is we're in a computer program. That's one of the theories, and it's glitching or whatever. Well, I mentioned to him something just tonight, of a situation that I had in my past, and I made the right decision. I made the moral decision. I made what most people would say is the right thing to do. That's what I did.
Morally right.
But for me, it was wrong, because this situation's coming up again. And it's almost impossible. It's like almost an impossible situation that would happen again, exactly the way it's happening. But now I see it. And now I'm sitting here going, am I supposed to make the wrong decision? It's not really the wrong decision. Nobody's getting hurt, nobody's dying. But it's just morally or right and wrong. What's the difference between right and wrong? I'm about to, this is going to happen, and I'm going to go with it. But I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't understand. I made the right decision then. Why do I got to go through this again?
Well, maybe it was the right decision for what you had at the time.
Well, because there's other things, there's other scenarios.
Exactly.
Well, after that happens, that might lead to something else. Or that might cause something else. There might be circumstances to that. That's the whole reason I'm not going to go out drinking and driving at 15 years old with my friends in the car. That's the equivalent that I said. So I think that's kind of bizarre. And he's telling me, yeah, I guess you got to go with it. I'm like, yeah, if it's a program, now that also brings up fate rather than free will. Do we really have free will, or is everything fate?
I've been saying, I've been wanting to get away from the Mandela Effect, concentrate more on creating my reality, shifting my consciousness into the timeline I desire for certain things or whatever, how I want to live my life. And as long as I'm online, I'm not really doing that. Yes, I enjoy this, and I think there's a time for it, and it's coming to an end for me. The other thing I've discovered and thought about, but never really touched on it a lot, is when I started doing videos back in 16, I think it was April 15th, 2016 was my first video. The events that took place in my life, the experiences that I was having practically stopped. They didn't. They dwindled off. They changed. Like when they changed from me experiencing orbs to me experiencing characters coming out of the TV. That was two different things. And then it shifted to something else when I started doing videos. And that something else was sleight of hand stuff. Out of the corner of my eye. You know, it's just not as defined as the other two types of experiences. I'm calling them two types. I don't know. It's all bizarre. But I'm being shown signs that I should at least stop what I'm doing now, get away from the Mandela Effect. I mean, let it be, you know. Weird stuff. So I'm thinking, you know, just if I need a question, I can do this. I think that was kind of fun with the songs, but you know, all the answers came right up. Nothing nefarious, and I would just say, you know, I would think in my head, you know, to my mighty I am presence and holy Christ self. If you can, please answer this question in the next song that plays, and then I'd ask a question and pop. I find it interesting. I think it's about you and your beliefs, just about with everything. But I think even if it's just temporary, it's time for me to change something, do something different. Now, I do have that other channel up, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and put that up. It's just going to be all my videos wrapped up into 80 videos. It's like 200 videos wrapped up into 80. And it's just time. If I'm going to expand more, and if I want to teach, grow, then this is what I need to do. And other people need to start taking their own life in their hands and creating what they want. I mean, if I was going to wrap this up, I mean, I would just say, look, you're in control of this. Don't let the outside stuff control you. You're in control of your reality. And if you don't believe that, then you're not. You know, I mean, as far as consciousness shifting through timelines, look, who cares? It's happening. Whatever it is, it's happening. So it doesn't really matter what, unless, of course, we can manipulate and control and use it. And it helps. Pretty sure we can use it regardless of even knowing not knowing what it is. I just think it would make more sense to know what it is. Is it natural, or is somebody, something doing this? Again, it almost doesn't matter if you can use it. You know, they're the two of the biggest questions. Why and how? Or why? Who? How? Why? 3 questions. And I analyze everything. So when I got into this, I was analyzing it to the bone. I wanted to know who, what, and why. And I realized, you know, they're good questions. I guess the most important one there is why. What do we do with it? Well, I've been experimenting. And I don't have it by any means. I haven't figured it out. But for me, the things I am doing work. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. But, you know, they've been working. Sometimes, not all the times. So, let's believe I've said all there is to say. And I've said it quite a few times, and I think I repeated that.
I do want to add, my heart goes out to everyone. I love every one of you. Even if you think you're an enemy, I love you too. Hang in there. This too shall pass. We are growing and learning and evolving, ascending. I don't care what you want to term it. For a little bit of time, I'm going to have to not post. I'm sure I'll post again, but it's got to be shut down for a little bit here, just because of what I feel is coming, and that's going to be when I'm going to want to come back on. So probably won't be too long. But I need to get my own house in order, not far from it, before I can, teach others or help other people. Time for me to take a little break, guys. It's the only way I'm going to be able to grow and learn and have experiences and, maybe turn around at some point and share them with you guys. It's been fun. That's all, folks. Looney Tunes, right? That would be fantastic. Thanks for listening to that. And now here's the regular scheduled program that you were initially looking for. I just want to say real quick, that was succinct. The whole idea about outer space. I think I've said, outer space isn't real. It's there. There's something there. But I don't think I don't believe, I don't feel it's what we've been taught. But, and I'm thinking of Saturn, the moon, the sun, with the other planets, and of course the stars. And I thought it was always the higher up in atmosphere you got, the denser it became until it was a liquid form to which you couldn't even get through. Just a theory, I haven't really expanded on that. Don't really need to. Now, but I've been thinking about it. There's something there. It's just not even told. There's, those things are real. And I'm like, somebody showed me a picture of Saturn. Look at the new pictures of Saturn. And I said, they're drawings, And I thought, you know what? They might not be drawings. They could absolutely be photographs. Sure, we got the P900 and, photographs and stuff and getting in on them. So whatever. I took that picture, could have taken that picture, could have got close. Did it get that? Have we been out of the atmosphere? I still tend to think not, but I don't know. It's not the Mandela Effect. It shouldn't be called the Mandela Effect. It's been around forever. People just notice. Some people are just noticing it now. I'm one of them. This is the way we live naturally. Everything shifts and changes, and you don't have to go by what everybody else is doing. You can shift into a different timeline on your own. And I really don't know if that's the proper terminology or whatever else. I don't know what it is. But I just know that this Mandela Effect, the title, look at quantum jumping timelines, quantum shifting, whatever. It would be so much better. Focused reality, not bad. Put this, the Mandela Effect, that title
is going down as, it's going to go down as some conspiracy thing, and it's going to end up being a joke. Yeah, I don't know. Because that's not what it is. You know, this is how we, you know, and I said this, I took a shot, and I'm sticking with it, you know, this is my theory, and this is what's happening. Your consciousness is what's shifting through different timelines to create motion, space, time, consciousness. Well, get it, don't yell at it, get it. To fly. And to notice a change, it's just a sign that you've shifted into another timeline. That's all it is. And I think it can be used, manipulated, controlled. Manipulated, controlled. No, because if you're going to control it and manipulate it, it's not going to work. Manipulate, maybe. And once you figure out that you can shift other people, you can shift other people by giving them direction. Hey, listen, this is the way it is. This is the way it's done. This is how you do it. They're believing it, they're shifting into that, which is not, and which is. So, yeah. After all that, I gotta say, I think Matt and I are saying the exact same thing, maybe different terminology, maybe it's off a little bit, because I'm saying, get rid of that negative thing, that thing that you know in your heart, it shouldn't be there anymore, otherwise it's going to be taken from you, and then, you know, it's awful, whatever. You know, it's, you know, and when you get rid of that thing, yeah, things are going to be bad, but they get better. But you got to let go of those things.
Now, for me, I've applied myself. I've focused on something small, tested it over a year ago, focused on it. There's other factors to it. I still don't know what they all are. But I've created. I mean, I am practically doing whatever I want. But I'm not struggling. I'm not having problems. I think I get what the deal is here. When there's something in your life that you know has got to go, and you hold on to it, things are going to get worse around it. Things are just going to get bad until you let go of that thing. I mean, now, the thing is, jobs, money, a mate, girlfriend, relationship, whatever. All those things I lost within the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's been going on for a while, since 2011, at least. That's with the job anyway. I mean, it's a hard thing for me to leave the job that I had for 27 years. Just to get up and go. And move to another state. So, you know, talk about losing family and friends. I've done that too, 15. But I believe I've shifted to where those friends are still in contact with me and they're aware of the Mandela Effect and the things that are going on around. And they hate calling it the Mandela Effect. It's like, to me, it's kindergarten. Calling it the Mandela Effect. Let's chase the changes and make a big joke out of it and have fun with it. It's fine. Do what you got to do. Even with that, somebody's going to turn around and go, "Wait a minute, that don't work." You take what this information is, the Mandela Effect, and you apply it. Use it. If you're going to turn around and say, well, it's fate and, we can't use it, it's something else controlling us and we have no power over it, then sure, you're going to have a rough time over it because guess what? That's what you're focusing on, that's what you're creating, and that's what's going to happen. if you take the information from the Mandela Effect and apply a theory. It doesn't have to be the one that's working for me. Do what you want. Come up with your own theory. If it don't work, come up with another one. Keep doing it. That's what I did. I was trying different things, and I'm still at a point where I don't apply all the look at the mountains. I mean, how many people can do that? And maybe they don't want to. I mean, you're going to do what's comfortable for you, what's relaxing for you. Every week I go to the hot springs. I mean, I think that's a big deal with me, because that stuff takes the poisons out of your body and puts other minerals in them, and I've noticed changes with that too. That's a big thing. You gotta take the Mandela Effect and go through it. I focus on something, I meditate on it, I let it go, I don't have any you really care about the outcome. I mean, I do, but I don't. At some point, you let it go, you don't let it go. You don't have any investment in it. One way or the other, whatever happens, you already know, and just move on to the next creation, the next thing you want to create. Make it small. Hey, an album I really want. Okay, follow it. Whatever. Come up with something, and then when you're done with that one, move on to the next one, and that one, it started, what happened? It has for me. I mean, like the first few times I did it, I failed horribly. You know, I would drive somewhere looking for something specific, and just opposite things would happen. What is this? Well, number one, I probably really didn't believe it at the time, and I did have too much investment in things that I really wanted. It wasn't happening. I think, yeah, he's right. Most of the Mandela Effect people, if not all, are having a hard time of it. Not me thus far, but I see everybody around me. People are coming up to me going, wow, you said this was going to happen. My boyfriend 3 months ago just came back into town, and it was a big shit show, and he's taking the dog, and I mean, and I told her, I said, look, I told you a month ago, things are going to get rough. She goes, yeah, but things are really getting better. I said, yeah, because you let go. You didn't have any investment in that, you know, that breakup that was going on. And yeah, you're going to miss the dog, and that's probably part of the pain you got to go through. But and she kept telling me, but things are looking so much better. I feel great, she's saying, you know, but things, the physical things are a problem. Having problems with this and that. Money, jobs, and relationships. And that's what it usually comes down to. Why those three things, and probably others, are those three things we should be shooting for? Are those goals that we should have? Money, relationships, and jobs. Pretty sure they're not the goals we're supposed to be going for. Programmed in the we have to have a job to pay our bills, to feed our kids. Well, you know what you need is food and shelter, and those things come naturally. See, for me, that was something I guess was programmed early. Food and shelter. It's just going to be there. Money. I always had a problem with money. Not now. Not, like I said, I'm not independently wealthy. But I don't have a problem. I haven't had a problem with money. It took a long time for me to get out of that money issue I had. It was like every week. I was living week to week. Couldn't do anything else. Week to week, and every week I was $20 short. Thanks, Paul. Inside joke. Got it over here. But then in like 2007, 2008, a lot of things started to change for me. I didn't understand what was going on. I just wasn't focused on it. You know, I just started to write checks and be real happy that I was paying a car payment. I'd write that check and be thrilled that I was sending that money out. And that's when it started. It still took years. I was so locked into this money thing. It took years because it's how hard the programming was. But now that money's there, I don't concern myself with it. If I need something, it's there. When there seems to be extra cash flow, I should throw it. I think my point is, we don't have to sit around and let this stuff happen to us. Me, I'm observing other people and I help it out if I can. Mostly with my words, trying to explain to them what's going on. To realize where you really are, who you really are. I don't think you have to be until I know it's got to. Yeah, it's going to be harder for other people. Why? I don't have a family. I mean, I do. They're on the other side of the country. I don't have a family that I'm tethered to right now. I'm living with my family. I don't have a wife and kids. That's got to be so hard. I just talked to and heard more than two people talking about how family members were just dissing them. I mean, we're talking sons, wives, husbands, still blowing these people off. Like, how can you do that? Till death do us part. You know, it won't even have anything to do with it or any kind of Mandela Effect issues. They don't want to hear it. Well, they're probably going through their turmoil stuff too. I see no families splitting up. They have to, because they have to. It's sad and it's going to hurt. For me, the relationship thing slowly died off. The job thing was hard to leave. You know, I always said, when I was in the 80s, when I was studying some of this stuff, and I say some of this stuff, like, I was looking into aliens and all kinds of other stuff. But the photon bell was mentioned, and New Age and all that stuff. So I was looking into that. It was like Bill Cooper and Vladimir Valerian. You know, I didn't know how I was going to prepare myself for this stuff, but I always wanted to be alone. I always thought, wow, what am I going to do with my wife alone? I'm going to be dragging these guys around. Well, now I got cats to drag around, so it don't matter. It's a little different, I suppose. Pack them up and go. Go where? It's happening everywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're not needing a bug out bag. I don't understand some people, they put all their faith in something that they're going to be taken care of, and then they go get a bug out bag. But I don't think you have to suffer from this. But it can't be easy. I think a lot of the things people are going through now, I went through the last few years, and it was one thing at a time. You know, supernatural stuff, it all came in at once, and everything. What happened was, when it was time for me to leave the job, I left. I didn't hold on to it. It's time to look for me to leave. The next job I left, after the 27-year-old job, I went to Pittsburgh. 2.5 years there. It's time to leave. That wasn't easy. It was probably easier to leave that one than the first one. The second one I'm leaving for less pay, but a promotion, which I didn't get either. There's my suffering. I mean, I went through that for 2 years, just, thinking, wow, I'm totally stuck here on the other side of the country now because this person totally screwed me. Packed up my stuff, moved across the country for a job, and got to get it. I mean, my fault for not getting it right, I suppose. And that's, things started to ramp up about that. But then, I left that job, and I left that job not in a good way. I mean, there was a case on it and everything else, and I won. She was wrong about some things. And moved out of Colorado to Mississippi for another casino job. Less pay, took a demotion, but there was no room to move up. And I knew people in the right position. So, I was hold on to moving up. And we know the story there, 6 months there, and it didn't work out. And that's the thing, it might not have just been the job, it might have been the business, because, I left the job, the first one, the second one, the third one, it was all casino jobs. All supervising, running casino floors, back and forth, up and down, whatever. And after I left the casino business, things really got better. So it might not have just been the job, it might have been the business. But I enjoyed it. And things started to get better. As soon as I stopped hunting for a relationship, things started to get better. And it wasn't like I couldn't have one. So I stopped looking. Everyone's like, oh, when you stop looking, that's when it shows up. And I'm like, well, I did something else other than stop looking. Okay, I just totally shut it down. I'm just not interested in it. And I've seen so many people online get into the Mandela Effect or other things that are out there now and totally lose relationships over there almost completely. I know it hurts, man. Embrace that. Grab that. Once you let go of those things that are bothering you, there's a reason why these things are happening. There's a reason why you're having a hard time with certain things, because you need to let go. And you're like, oh my God, how do I let go of that? Well, you know what? I don't know what it is. It's going to be a personal thing, but the problem is people have things going wrong in their life because they're things that they shouldn't have in their life. They don't need to have or can't have to move on or move further. Like I said, all those things, even the pain, and, for me, it all came and I let it go as it came in. I didn't hold on to everything. It seems to me a lot of the no-affected people, a lot of the empaths, they held on to all that stuff. And they're giving and they're still giving and giving. Look, you gotta hurt them. Hurt them to be helping them. It's funny, I woke up at, I don't even know what time. Prince jumped on me, started scratching my back. I woke up, I was like, wow, buddy, all right. You hungry now? All right, I'll hook him up. I must have fell asleep early, probably before midnight. And got me up, fed him, and I realized, well, I'm awake. And then probably more than 4 hours sleep. I don't know what time it was. I got dressed and left the house. When I just go for a cruise to enjoy a day off. I guess it's got to be 5, 6 in the morning now with that sun coming up. Or over, whatever it does. I used to turn my back on that stuff. And it wasn't part of my reality. Well, it is. It's a part of the collective. So it is part of my reality. So now, rather than just completely turning my back on it, look, I still won't watch the news, and I'm still not going to watch the wars. I hear people talk about it. It's part of the collective. It's in my reality. You know, I'll say a prayer for them. I'll meditate for them. I'll decree, whatever it is. But that's not turning my back on it. That's trying to take a responsibility for it, understanding that it's part of the collective. Nature's doing it to them. And of course it is, if it's what you focus on and what you perceive as your reality, that's what it's giving you. What they used to say, the universe, you send it out to the universe, that's what you're getting back. Well, that's what's happening with this. These people are going, woe is me, and we got to stop that. You are part of the chosen, you've been called. 144,000, whatever it is. I mean, you know, you don't want to break out of here. You don't want to get out. You want to stay. It's the whole point of us being here. We're making this place better quicker. So I guess that's all I have to say for now. I said, just take one thing at a time. If you're going to try and create instead of sitting back and waiting, because that's what I see a lot of people doing, sitting back and waiting for things to happen. And I'm at that point now because I can be. I've already gone through the crap. I've created the relationship. I created the relationships around me. I've created where I live, where I work, what I'm doing with my life. I am sitting back and waiting. I can now. Other people can't. Like I said, it was strange. I got all the supernatural, paranormal stuff all at once, and all the physical stuff that I had to get rid of just went one at a time. Why? Because when it was time for me to let go, I let go. Did I know what I was doing? No, I just started to get fed up with things, you know. Car accident happened. I lost 90% of my belongings, replaced nothing. I'm sure that was part of it. That was clearing. I cleared everything out to let other things come in. The 2.5, and that was in Pittsburgh, and the 2.5 years there, Pittsburgh with an H. Basically just a waiting period or something, because I was experiencing things, didn't know it, so I was just doing my normal routine. I say hang in there, try and keep a positive attitude. I'm not just saying it's all rah-rah, rainbows and unicorns. And I think it can be, even for short periods of time. That's the direction I want to go now. You know, we know things have changed. I just heard a radio station this morning with this woman talking about how, you know, she's a scientist. And she just, you know, she sees the Mandela Effect. She's still fighting it off. You know, at first it bothered me. I'm like, come on, things easy. What was the example? Oh, it was the Challenger. The year that the Challenger exploded, she was absolutely sure she knows where she was, what year that was, but then she started to question it, because she's like, wow, it's not 84, whatever year they were, 86. some people say 85, and they're going on and on. And she sees it. She's like, yeah, that makes no sense to me, but maybe I was just too young. We know that the human mind misremembers things, and she's going on and on about this, and it bothered her. I think it bothered her that she felt, something's wrong with my mind because I'm misremembering things. I think that's starting to bother her. But she was just she's holding on. She's holding on for dear life to this third dimensional reality. Because for her, it's still solid, linear. There's nothing, there's no way it would change. She just doesn't, that's why she's just chalking it up to misremembering. That's a shame. But everybody's playing their part. Keep the positive attitude going, run it up. Listen, wake up in the morning, shut down the thoughts. I know what's happening. I've been there. Shut them down. Do it. Go. Stop. Like, but I want to finish this thought because this scenario going on in my head is so important. No, it's not. The scenario going on in your head is not going to happen. Shut it down. Start jumping up and down. Dance. And then find some kind of tool if you need it to protect yourself. Protect your energy because it's your energy. And you'll feel like you're you again. And you'll be able to take control. And you'll be able to say no. I've noticed a lot of the empathic people, a lot of the people in the Mandela Effect community can't say no. If you're empathic, it's so hard to say no. You want to help everybody. But sometimes you got to realize there are energies out there that are not out for your best. They are out there sucking up your energy. And they don't even know it, and they're not trying to do it. And this don't make them bad people. It's the stuff they went through their whole life. That's the real life. That's how they did it. They, me, I used to go out in nature and stuff, meditate and gather my own energy. Now I just use some of these tools that I just acquired, and that's how I get my energy back, and it's my own energy. Can't go wrong. That, but I don't think you got to sit around and let this stuff happen to you. You can apply and do it. And listen, it's going to take some practice to get out of this negative thinking all the time, waking up with negative thoughts and knowing they were mine. Listen, you're going to do it yourself. It's going to take a while. If you find some tools that will protect you spiritually or whatever it is, whatever your beliefs are, use that. Don't be changing your beliefs now. Use those beliefs, use those things, protect yourself, and do something about it. Don't just sit around being like, the Mandela Effect is controlling my life, and it's making me do this and that. Every time I get close to something, it shuts me down. Stop that. Get rid of that. Like I said, apply. A lot of the things we say, it's really the same thing, completely different terminologies, different words. But it's the same thing. It really is. And it's a lot of the things other people talk about that I say, it's the same thing. Terminology is different. I'm like, well, why can't I just change over to that? Well, I can. I mean, that's not my beliefs. They're not mine. They're probably tore away. That's why I say go with what you believe, what your faith is, what's going to help you, what keeps you sane. Go with that. But I really think you can apply yourself. You don't have to be the victim. You do not have to be the victim. Do not have to be the victim. And I think a lot of the Mandela affected people feel that way. Start looking at it like you're the chosen, not the victim. You're asked to say, wait, you're strong enough to be able to get through this, make the world a better place, and help people, even while crap's going around in your life. That's why you're being called. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see the moon right over that mountain. I remember one day in the 70s looking up at the moon during the day, thinking, wow, when did the moon start coming out during the day? I didn't realize that happened. I was a young teenager when I first saw it.